What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Monday afternoon show presented by our friends at Xfinity and Comcast. Look, if you are looking for the best deal on cable and you're looking around and trying to feel like you got shows coming back, you got sports coming back, you got a million different streaming services, I'm telling you right now, go to Xfinity.com, type in your address, check out the deals. You're probably going to be able to save money, get all the channels you want. Go to Xfinity.com. I switched back to cable several years ago. Can't believe I ever left. Xfinity has been there for me, and I see everything. And, I'm just telling you, cutting the cord, that was so 2010s, right? That's not what we do anymore. Xfinity.com. Jason, how you doing, brother?
Iffy, Ifantu Malafanwu, we freaking love you, man.
Really good penis.
Hey, buddy, what's going on, man? I love Xfinity. I had to give them a ring and say, hey, I'm going to need a new remote whenever Chris Paddock pitches next.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to break that remote. Whenever he pitches in the playoffs, give me 2 remotes. I'll throw it through a freaking window.
If he's pitching for the Tigers in the playoffs, it's big trouble. Big trouble.
How is he not going to pitch in the playoffs?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I see. Look, there's 6 games off between every game. I say, if Scooball doesn't sign another contract, you just run him out there every game.
Yeah, pitch him twice.
Yep, it doesn't really matter.
Give a shit.
Yeah, his arm.
What's
can
Boris
fall
going to
off.
say?
Yep, what are you going to do? You sign the deal or
back out? Thanks, Scoobs.
Sign the deal or plan on off-season surgery. You got 2 choices, Scooball. Well, so today's show is, as you can imagine,
Panic room at the Couch in the Room here.
So just
Couch is losing his mind over
good.
takes.
I'm good.
So we might have to do a different format because I don't want to cut anybody out today. So I don't know. I think Graham and I are going to skip ours and just get to you guys. What do we need to hear us for?
You're going to get our takes through your takes. We're doing that because we don't want to cut people. MSU.
We have a hard out.
Yeah, we have a hard out. MSU football interviews ran long. It's just we have a tight window, and I hate that. And everybody thinks we're just like, screwing around over here trying to. It's not
the process. It's kind of screwing around, but
Okay. Well, yeah. We want to get to as many people as we can.
Right.
And we've got a really good show with really good takes from you guys. So we're just going to do ours through yours. That's not usually the way we like to do it. I know some people, and if you really hate this, let us know because we won't do that again. We're prioritizing the people. The problem is, anyway, there's no problem. There's no problem at all. But we want to get
because we don't want the show to end and be like, all right, we're going to get to these on Wednesday. The good ones. We'll get to the good ones on Wednesday. So we want to just,
Yeah.
So what are we doing? Might as well get to them.
Let's get to the freaking takes. Let's go.
Wouldn't that be great if we just spent 15 minutes hemming and hawing?
Instead of doing takes?
Right.
Yeah.
Dominic up first. Number 1, it doesn't seem like there's a blue wall. Graham, there aren't writers that lean that way. You don't understand. We have that perception. Why we have that perception, excuse me. They can blatantly cheat, start fights before and after games, smear shit on our locker room walls. It's straight up comedy. And 2, ultimately, MSU should do whatever the fuck they want. However, it's a free-for-all and anything goes. I'd much rather have shitty optics than a meek apologetic cuck like Haller and apologize for existing. The NCAA is a sham. And just because you annoyed me this week, Yancey Thigpen.
So a couple things here. And I was talking to somebody who worked in Detroit as a writer for a long time. Put it pretty well on the blue wall.
Oh
no, it was just the problem is the way the blue wall is characterized is there's this vast conspiracy or there's some sort of organizational effort to cover things up, and what you essentially have is just a few homers who are in columnist positions, and that creates this perception, or it also does impact the coverage. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I think as long as we can agree that what you think is the blue wall is not actually starting in the edit board rooms or on the A1 meeting or with calls from editors saying, hey, let's focus elsewhere. As long as that's understood, then I'm with you. But let's just understand.
But I think it's great that it annoys you guys, though. So I think people will still do it. I think a lot of people like let that idea go where it's an actual conspiracy. But the fact that you sports writers get annoyed by it,
I just know how it works a little more, but I also, to be fair,
you don't. I do.
No, well,
I win.
But I don't go into like Dominic. Is somebody who takes very serious calls for a living, a 911 operator. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Just did.
Shit. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, actually. That might be one of those jobs you're not. We'll fix that in post.
What are you talking about? He has to be
what I was just going to say is
incognito?
Like, I wouldn't know. I don't know.
911 operator. I mean, he should be praised instead.
Yes,
we should be sending him fucking groovy donuts. I'm not sitting there going like, oh, yeah, we should just not talk about Dominic.
There are lots of things I probably don't understand about his job. And I may have opinions. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I would need 80 MGs after my shift.
65 more times more important than anything I've ever done.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking that.
Yeah.
And if I just stepped out of line by telling what you did, holy shit, man, I apologize, and I will owe you big time. I apologize. Let's move on and maybe actually fix that one in post.
You want to give out his address? Too?
Yeah.
Kurt Wisniewski, the NCAA's decision to not hammer Michigan athletics for cheating is perfect. First, it adds more hate fuel for that scumbag program. Second, it galvanizes that they did cheat and provides no defense to their fan base. Last, provides legitimate backing that their title is not real.
So I think the biggest punishment that Michigan got here is sort of the ultimate scarlet A on their chest from the NCAA, and for people who were sort of paying attention to the peripheral, who've read any stories or looked at it, this tarnishes the title. Now, there are Michigan fans who don't feel that way, and that's fine. Everybody can feel how you. But part of winning big is sort of having that ultimate respect of rivals. That sucked. And this is a title that doesn't come with that. Now, doesn't mean some of it wasn't earned. I mean, those were some dominant performances by really good teams. And this may not have been needed to do what they did, but they still did it, and they were, aloof that's the wrong word, but they were dismissive or cover up somewhere in there, at the top level, and that's what that's what they basically said about Harbaugh. And so for that, you get this scarlet A, and people aren't going to respect the title, and that's the. But
how do you think, like 5 to 10 years from now, it'll be perceived? Like when you look back at it, I'm saying, just two random guys talking about college football, bringing up the Michigan, right, the championship. Is it met with, oh yeah, remember when Michigan cheated, or Michigan's talked about, right? But they always have to bring up the cheating scandal in it.
I think,
or do you think people just forget?
No, I think it lingers. I think this one's been pretty well publicized. I think it lingers.
All right. Ralph E. next. Former MSU strength and conditioning coach Ken Manny is not quick to give compliments. Thoughts on his tweet that, all right, and from Gary Lipka. We're going to get some typos today. And from Gary Lipka, after seeing Ken Manny's comments on the scrimmage, I say take the over.
So I meant to put this tweet in. It was Ken Manny had a tweet where he basically said MSU, everything he saw on the field, and he was visiting the other day, was
special teams,
was amazing. Hold on. Give me some off. Give me some off.
I am the passenger.
That's crazy.
And I ride and I ride.
All right, so here's what he said. Spartans on Saturday. He's at Saturday's scrimmage, and Ken Manny's the former strength and conditioning coach under D'Antonio. Spartans on Saturday. Point 1, great-looking, well-trained athletes everywhere, exclamation point. Tough, physical interior play, both sides of the ball, exclamation point. Thumpers at linebacker, exclamation point. Legit tight ends, exclamation point. Wide receivers and DB fast, long, and skilled, exclamation point. RBs quick, athletic, and tough, exclamation point. QB1, wow, all caps, all talented, exclamation point. And in all caps, impressive leadership, exclamation point. I do want to tell people this before you start feeling really excited and taking that over, that when I ran with and trained with the MSU football team in 2013 for a couple sessions and ran the Spartan Stadium steps and did all that, and at the end of the week when I was interviewing Ken Manny he goes, you were a lot more quick twitch than I thought you would be. Ken Manny once described me as quick twitch. So think about,
it's a good compliment.
It is, but think about that when you think about Ken Manny's credibility here.
But Manny was probably trying to mess with you, though. He wanted you to walk away. He's like, all right, I'm going to say something to him that's going to really fuck with him.
12 years ago, I was a much fitter individual. End of the athletic prime. Yeah. So
I would hope so.
But and Ken Manny, I don't think is, if Ken
was
Manny,
it the exclamation points in the tweet? Is that what?
If Ken Manny had said kickers look great, then the whole thing would be negated. Because I know that because Jonathan Smith talked today about the injuries to those guys and how two of the guys really haven't kicked yet and or kicked in a while, and
that's good news.
And so
Holy shit.
they feel good about the other one, but it's so if that at least isn't like, wait a second, that's not true. And Ken Manny, I do believe he obviously liked what he saw. I don't believe he had to tweet this, and he didn't have to tweet it to this point. And he is here's a guy who, one of the things he used to always talk to teams about, seasons were made in the summer. He could tell different years were going to go well by the different summers they had when he was the strength and conditioning coach. And so when he sees something like that, there is some credibility to it. This is probably, if this was all true at the Big Ten level, then Michigan State's, going to be in contention. And maybe they are, and he's putting a little bit of credibility there. He's not the worst person for that, but I would just remind people that he once said, I was more quick twitch than he anticipated.
How many games during a season do you think kicking comes into play where it can swing a game one way or another?
This season?
Yeah.
I would think 7 or 8.
7 or 8 games.
Yeah.
So does it, when we talk about the over-under for Michigan State, the kicking situation, is that a glaring thing where you're like, I don't know?
I think it's a concern.
Because if you're saying 7 or 8, I thought you were about to say 3 or 4. And I'm like, holy shit, 7 or 8.
Well, it's also paired with the red zone stuff, right?
So kickers that haven't even kicked, and like, what's going on?
If they figure out the red zone and kicking becomes less, then maybe it's 4 or 5.
Like Dan Campbell, just go for it every down?
And maybe they'll be fine. It's just something we're going to have to see and not know, and it's going to be a little nervy.
That'd be sweet if Jonathan Smith just became Dan Campbell. Just like, let's go for it. Grit, all that shit. It'd be wild. Jebediah, number 1, the NCAA didn't hammer Michigan because they've wanted the sport burned to the ground post-NIL. They want nothing more than for every school to cheat so they can fine the shit out of them and pay off their legal fees before everyone breaks off. And 2, bonus. What will be the required amount of groovy donuts to consume when Trey Hendrickson becomes a Packer this week?
The right amount of groovy donuts is...
What are the Packers giving up to get Hendrickson, though? Like, I heard first, and they want, like, a top defensive player. But I would say probably about a dozen.
Yeah, at least.
A dozen would...
A dozen, a couple more just in case would be the...
that's going to suck.
Yeah.
Miserable sports fan next. Hot take. Jackson Kohler's ability to rebound and his growing strength of stretching the floor will allow Cohen Carr to flourish into a top 20 pick. Also, they're finishing second in the Big Ten. Purdue is a monster. And bake take. Leftover Thanksgiving food eaten cold is elite and better.
I like certain Thanksgiving food a lot cold.
I've never seen a bigger bake take than the fact that you're thinking about Thanksgiving leftovers already. That is the ultimate bake take.
It's a great bake take.
To write it in, too.
Green bean casserole.
See, I was raised by a ton of just god-awful cooks, so I've never had a great...
Really?
Yeah, like Christmas ham, my grandpa Nick was good at that, but everything else was ass.
What do you do now as an adult?
We eat whatever. We make our own lasagna. Or
oh, nice.
We don't have the turkey. I've never been a big turkey.
Yeah.
We see deep fry one. Deep fried turkeys are awesome, but I'm not getting into that shit.
We do a little sides giving sometimes, which is like, because we like the sides more than the turkey. So everybody brings a side or whatever, and the sides are fantastic.
So like Thanksgiving, isn't that like a Thanksgiving thing? Like everybody brings the side?
Yeah, but we don't minus the turkey altogether.
Oh, you don't have turkey, period.
Yeah, sometimes we don't have turkey, period.
So what's the main? There's no main meat?
It's just like 1,200 sides, right?
Huh.
It's really good.
Yeah, I couldn't hate that.
Yeah. It works out.
Because I'm a big, do whatever you want guy. I want to shit on whatever you do. That was my brain immediately goes to shit on this. But then I had to pause.
Yeah.
So let you know what my process is.
I appreciate it. Real quick to the Jackson Kohler point, ability to rebound and growing strength of stretching the floor allowed Cohen Carr to flourish. If Jackson Kohler is not just a threat, but a weapon from beyond the arc, it changes their team. And there's a difference between threat and weapon. We all know what that looks like. Kenny Goins became a legitimate weapon out there and obviously hit one of the bigger shots in program history, right? If that is somebody that Kohler becomes, it from a spacing standpoint, if you get a guy who I think has become an elite rebounder at the college level, very least a very, very good rebounder, your best rebounder, is also a weapon from beyond the arc. If those two things can coincide, you've got a really good player who will fit everything that they want to do.
John, next. Number 1, glad to hear that you and Spot have made amends. 2, I think the media handled Friday better than could have been expected. Should be noted.
Yeah, people weren't happy with Wojo's column, but they like Sean Windsor's. Yeah, by the way, I'm supposed to
pay $20 a month for that.
See Sean Windsor tonight.
Oh, yeah?
And, yeah, Joe Rexroad, Sean Windsor, Matt Charbonneau. Little
right.
gathering, yeah. Maybe Solari. We don't know yet. So
watch out, Hawaii Spa. Those ladies are going to be tired.
Yeah.
All right. John Johnson, would you rather be Michigan 15-0 national champs, but have these circumstances surrounding the title, or would you rather be Ohio State last year with 2 losses and losing at home to your biggest rival who had a Make-A-Wish quarterback? I lean Michigan because of who they beat after the news broke.
You okay in there?
I had to sneeze.
Yeah.
I had my mute button on.
Yeah. I was worried about you because I could hear it over here. I don't think it went into the mic, so I was just concerned. I was like, oh, my God, he died.
I know. You have bionic hearing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's great for when you do a podcast and no one hears it but you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm not very good at this. To the question from John. Would you rather be Michigan 15-0 national champs, but these circumstances, or Ohio State last year, 2 losses, home to Michigan, including home to Michigan, and you win the national title?
I'm going Michigan.
Yeah, probably.
That 15-0, and then you kicked Ohio State's ass, and you did it last year.
Well, it's the number of times Ohio State is lost to Michigan here. To me, if Ohio State had lost just to Michigan last year, but it still had control of that rivalry and won the national title, it's the fact that they've just lost complete control of the game that really matters so much to them. You know, I don't know, though. The one thing is, and I know what Michigan did after the news broke, but the momentum of that program, we'll never know to what degree, the first win against Ohio State, they were a winning program with a lot of momentum by the time that news broke. And I'm not saying they didn't do good work afterwards, but sometimes seasons snowball like that, and you get some momentum going. And I've heard this argument before. The question is, and not only that, do they lose a game somewhere along the way that affects one of those other seasons, that affects how we view them? This is a tough one because I think the shame would be
there is no shame.
But
if you don't have shame, there is no shame.
But I would have shame.
Yeah.
I have lots of shame.
Well, then pick Ohio State. Yeah, because there's no shame there, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
All right, Munfield Keg. MSU fans seem down about NIL. The Michigan cheating scandal and everything else have to do with college football. This fan base can be the worst sometimes. We have 2 potential superstars on this team, so get your ass up to East Lansing in a few weeks to tailgate and let the good times roll.
Yeah, I don't.
There's a pep talk.
Yeah, I don't know that Michigan State fans are really down on this. I think they're curious. I mean, I think they don't love the overall situation. Their program hasn't been great. Michigan's been up. I mean,
it was the slap on the wrist, though, that Michigan State fans, the most logical ones, that were like, nothing's going to happen to Michigan, and it came true, right? Thomas, programs like MSU, which historically are good at not staying down too long and maintaining some baseline success, will be much more stable long-term in the new college football environment, i.e., I think places like Indiana risk being more boom or bust, which could irritate demanding fans.
Well, the challenge at a place like Indiana, and it's what Kentucky's going through in a lot of places, is if your fan base is in love with basketball, can you do both financially really well? And I think it's a challenge, and I think, Indiana's having fun right now. I would be surprised if the fun really lasted at Indiana. Now, as long as Kirk Signetti's there, and maybe, he's got 4 or 5 really good years left, and if you were talking about stock over a 15, 20-year period, I would not put it in Indiana football. It's just hard to imagine, and it is partly because.
Is it because of Signetti? Like, you just don't think that he?
No,
can keep
I think
the
he's really good
money?
for 5 years, but I think after that, to me at some point, basketball becomes where the heart is, and maybe there's enough for everybody, but I think that's really hard to do. I think Michigan State's going to struggle with that with hoops to some degree. Right now, they have Izzo, which is sort of a great equalizer, but I think that's going to be something.
I'm not talking about Michigan.
That a lot of schools struggle with because you have to win in football to a degree to fund everything. But if basketball is what people want, that's tricky.
John Minsley next. After moving my son onto campus for the first time last weekend, here are my thoughts on NIL and the transfer portal. Number 1, MSU will always be my home. I received a phenomenal education there, and those were formative years of my life. 2, I will cheer for anyone who wears the Block S. Pay them when they are ready to move on, celebrate them for their contributions, even if it was just 1 year. If you wear the S, then you are a dog. And 3, the players and teams are my connection to the campus when I am hundreds of miles away. NIL and the portal will not change that, and last weekend reminded me why. And bonus, we had lunch at the Barrel based on your take from last week. It was absolutely not East Beijing.
That's disappointing. It used to be that.
Well, you have to be like Couch, and like you have to follow their bus to make sure when they're getting off.
I do think there might
be
be
Asian students, if you guys missed it.
Might be fewer international students than there used to be or something. I don't know. It used to be if you were out there the week before the other students
checked
arrived.
like bus times and everything to make sure that you're in the
I was not. I just was out there on a random like Wednesday the week before.
Oh, that was just luck.
Well, that's the way it happened. Yeah, I didn't plan it. I discovered East Lansing, Beijing. It wasn't like it was. So
you just lucked into it, but thought that happens every summer, like every year when the kids move back.
Lucked into it the first time, went back the second time, different year. Yeah. So that's sort of what happened. I will say this, Josh, to the idea that I think your connection is safe. The question is your son, his connections, and that's what I don't know that generation's going to have the same connections you feel long term.
All right, Spartan 18770. Graham, you wrote that MSU was still trying to find a kicker. The solution is to score touchdowns in the red zone, and that falls squarely on the offensive line. Open holes for the running backs and give Childs time to find his receivers.
Although that's great, and I agree. I mean, the red zone offense is an important part of something they need to improve on. But there will be games. When you look at their schedule and the number of teams that are picked to win around 7.5 games this year, there are going to be a lot of competitive, tough games. And you just can't leave points off the board. If you run into, you're at the 22-yard line and you're at 4th and 6, you've got to be able to convert that. And that's what we don't know yet.
Chris Eastlick next. Number 1 in Graham's D'Antonio article, which was great, Graham.
Thank you.
That was Chris, not me. There was a good point toward the end. Even in the frustrating end of the D'Antonio era, most of those teams weren't getting blown off the field 49-14 by Rutgers. They were competing with the top teams. Outside of that, that really bad stretch in 2018 with an injured Lewerke, that's been one of the most disappointing things of the last few years. And 2, all that being said, in the previous take, this offseason, things seem to be trending upward. We hear Coach speak every offseason, but this seems to be similar to the Kenneth Walker talk of 2021, where everyone seemed to be saying the same thing. Smith is a good coach, and I hope we see him succeed here.
So I agree with you on this. I was looking back at some of the D'Antonio losses late in his career, and even the 3-9 season after I talked to him, and they were just really competitive, even when they weren't great. They beat Rutgers 45-0. They lose to Ohio State 17-16 in that 3-9 year. They were rushing the ball at a clip that they really haven't. They had a better offensive line in 2016 now than they have in a lot of the last decade. Now, some of that's the remnants of great years, and they had a lot of that. They just lacked leadership. There were a bunch of things going on. They didn't have the quarterback play. But that is something that people cannot stand. And I do think the depth this year will help that. I think who they are in October is much more likely to be who they are in November. And so I don't know what they'll be in October entirely, but if you've got more depth and you're able to finish the year stronger, that people will feel better about that. Now, there are, Nick Marsh gets hurt, Aiden Childs gets hurt. There are players who may wind up being incredibly important to you and are difference makers to the point that depth can't cover that up. But they should be, by and large, I think, similar at the end of the year to what they are in the middle of it.
Spartan fans clamoring for the school to cancel all games with Central Michigan need not worry. As declining population trends continue and government funding decreasing, schools like Central will go the way of Blockbuster Videos and the Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Miss the Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Miss Blockbuster.
Both.
Miss them both, yeah.
Yeah, but I think people are missing out. Blockbuster, going to a Blockbuster for a movie on a Friday night was... Yeah,
but it was good back then. But now, do you really want to go to a Blockbuster on a Friday?
I
despise people. It is nice. I mean, I talk shit, like the days of yore and everything. But really, do you want it on a Friday night?
I kind of do.
Yeah, but all right, once. I guarantee you after the first time, you'd be like, we had to wait in line like 30 minutes. I didn't even have my DVD.
What kind of Blockbuster do you have to wait in line 30 minutes?
I don't know. I'm just trying to cause a problem so that you would be disgusted. I'm just saying, because I'm with you for some of these things, but then I love technology so much that I'm glad I can just flip on the TV and order something if I want it. But,
that is true. Yeah. It is. CMU is in financially in rough shape. I think they need to be creative, and there's Central Michigan ought to be a school that
used to be the party school when we were in school. Like, oh, dude, you're going to Central, you're going to have a great time.
And it's the closest school to like the northern Michigan, and not up north, but like northern Lower Peninsula. I don't know. I think they've got to be creative. They've got to keep up with facilities, but they are definitely suffering.
Max, next, have you ever noticed how diehard Trump and Harbaugh supporters exhibit the same traits? Are they the same people? They will drink whatever dear leader serves and regurgitate it regularly. They don't believe their eyes and ears because it has to be fake, and as long as they get what they want, the methods do not matter.
Yeah, I played around with a column on this, and I haven't really pulled the trigger on it yet.
Oh, come on.
There are some similarities in certain spheres. Now, I'm not... But you talking
I just want to be there for the comments.
Yeah. There are some similarities, and probably a lot of people who behave a certain way as Michigan fans who don't like Trump for the very reason that's being brought up here, and don't realize they behave the same way as the people they really don't like, who are the fiercest loyalists of Trump.
Oh, I need that column so bad. Yeah. Skylar Verdon. The problem with not wanting to punish players who had nothing to do with the cheating is that it encourages delaying and being uncooperative with the NCAA. Then, by the time punishment comes down, all the players who were originally involved are gone, and you can use the excuse of not punishing current players.
You know what I would do if I were the NCAA in this? You don't want to punish current players because they're there. That's fine. If you want to make that kind of a standard blanket thing across, punishment and discipline for schools, make the bowl ban for 2029, 2030. Kids coming in know what they're getting into for those years. It hurts you down the road. It's hanging over you. You want a fierce punishment? Make it down the road. If it was like 2028, Michigan's got a bowl ban, that sucks. That would suck in recruiting. That would really hurt people, but they would at least be there with eyes wide open. Is that worse?
Forget by then.
What's that?
By then we'd forget, though, wouldn't we? Like 2029?
Well, not if it's officially a punishment. It wouldn't be like, oh, shit.
Like, oh, wait, is this the year? Oh, man.
Just one way to look at it. I don't, I think they could have definitely, if I were the NCAA, I would have taken the games where they thought they had evidence that there was advanced scouting, done against the rules with, by hiring people to be in stadiums and film the opposing bench. And we can argue about what sort of advantage it was or wasn't. And Connor Stallions is very good in real time at deciphering signs, and that's something that everybody is able to do in real time. But we can argue whether that was the advantage. But to me, if you had taken those games that they did that for and they had vacated those games in particular, just those games, I think everybody would have been, okay, that seems fair. At least not Michigan fans, or not some Michigan fans. But that, to me, would have been the most fair way to do it. I'd rather that than the fine. To me, you punish them for, you want to do the fine, that's fine. But to me, you punish them for the games you knew they had an advantage. To what advantage? We don't know. They'll never know. But there was some sort of advantage that was against the rules.
But you talked about the money. We talked about it last Friday. I think $100 million would have set a tone, though, at least. The $30 million, everybody saw that number and goes, well, that doesn't mean anything to Michigan. $100 million, even to a program like Michigan, would have been a shock to the system, I think. But the NCAA's ass, who cares? Ryan Rockwell, number one, MSU's relatively quiet, workman-like approach this fall is a nice return to form for them. Take the over. If they don't go bowling this year, there should be a big concern for the program. And two, this week marks my yearly call to a local LSJ customer service rep to threaten to cancel because I don't want to renew at $20 a month after a promo rate ends. Wish someone could just get them to charge, I don't know, $5 a month forever. You'd have me for life.
We can't survive on $5 a month, unfortunately. Yeah. I would love to.
Take of the day, Ryan.
I would love this to be
Graham
the case.
will give you an LSJ gift card. Just DM him.
I would love this to be the case. We can't survive on that, and that's why.
What? You're being serious? You're not joking?
Yeah, I'm not joking.
You're telling me if everybody paid $5 a month?
Well, there would have to be a lot more people.
I'm not saying everybody. Well, yeah, of course we would.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Because we would.
What is this mentality you newspaper people
Hold on,
have?
because if you offer $5 a month for a lot of our subscribers would pay a lot more than that. If they come down to the $5 a month level, we would need about 4 times, 5 times the subscriber
Can't live
base.
on that.
Are
you fucking kidding me, dude?
By the way, if you want,
I'd rather have $0 than $5.
if you want a company with good customer service and that'll walk you through things, Xfinity is there for you. First of all, you can call Xfinity. You can online it's really easy to put in your address and look at the best offer for you. But also, like here in Lansing, the Xfinity store over by Eastwood, really helpful people there. Lots of products, be it phones, whatever it is. They'll walk you through anything. You can swing on by there, and one of the things they do with Xfinity Mobile that's great is they still have the same coverage as Verizon, but at a much better price, which is very cool. Swing by the Xfinity store nearest you as well.
We'll just try to trick you into $20. We'll try to trick you into taking 20 out of your pocket instead of taking 5 every month that guys like Ryan and myself that would forget about over all the years.
I'm not saying that
I want to support you guys, but you guys make it so hard, dude.
Agreed. I'm not saying what we do is right, and I'm not saying all that is correct.
Ryan
I'm
comes
saying,
up with an option. The first thing is we can't survive on that.
I'm saying the number 5 doesn't work. The number would have to be the $9-10 a month range. Yeah.
Oh, man. Spartan 231, number 1. Didn't the NCAA report basically show Michigan cheated and broke many violations? What are Michigan fans celebrating this? Because they didn't get punished severely? It's like they don't care that they cheated. 2, I can't wait for the season to start. Either I will get excited about the future or afraid. We need to show we can control the trenches against a team like Western, or it will be another long season.
Yeah, we've talked about this, the idea that there are red flags in that Western game if you can't control the trenches. There's nothing you can prove for sure. So it's one of those, but we all know what looks good, and there can be things that are promising. But there have been promising things in those particular games in other years that haven't translated to the rest of the year. And there have been things, even in years where they wound up being really good, where the offense wasn't great early on. But I do think getting control of the line of scrimmage, having a running game,
kicking the ball.
Right. The kicking game is not going to change it. There are things we will learn, and I think the next week against Boston College, learn even more about Michigan State.
Around the bushes.
Ben Chulik next. Why does Tony Petitti continue to make me feel embarrassed to be an alum of a Big Ten school? A 28-team playoff? I'm getting tired of the powers that be trying to ruin this sport we all love just to appease their TV partners. College football is not the NFL. And bonus, if this is just a way to strong-arm their way to a 16-team college football playoff with 4 automatic qualifiers for the Big Ten, F off, Tony. That idea sucks too. How about we give the 12-team format more than one season sample size to determine what the next step should be?
Well, this is where I'm at too. I think I really love the 12-team format, and I think we should actually see if it's great, because it seems like it could be great. Do I want another round?
No,
of
got to add more teams,
right? And I don't know how much of this is Tony Petitti and other voices. Like Tony Petitti is, he's not. This isn't something where he is the lone voice in the Big Ten. There can be ADs and presidents who want this sort of thing, but Bettini's got to also understand he is just a steward. He is a short timer. Most people will be college football fans long after he's done. Many of us will be in our jobs long after he's done. He's a short timer. He needs to shepherd this thing, and we don't have time for him to have all these wild, wacky ideas if they don't make a ton of sense. Now, if this got floated out there to see the pushback, consider the pushback. Like, to me, you talk about just negating the regular season. You get up to 28 teams, and just the length of the playoff would be, come on. Anything. I understand they do that at lower levels. But anything beyond 16, and I don't think we need to get to 16, but anything beyond 16, anything beyond 4 full rounds after the season. By the way, you get to 16, you damn well sure better get rid of the conference championship games. Those should be long gone at 16. It probably shouldn't be there at 12, but long gone at 16. And I would challenge Tony Petitti to explain himself in any other way.
Ooh,
and
challenge.
Well, yeah, this isn't.
A staring contest.
College football.
Couch and Petitti.
College football is in a situation now where it's a little bit of danger of turning people off over the course of a generation. What you don't want to do is you have a lot of things when you have something people love and seem to love, like the 12-team playoff, don't mess it up. Don't screw around when you don't need to. If all of a sudden it's like, boy, this doesn't work for this reason, then adjust. But let's see it. And if you can explain, if it's about money and it's about survival and there's a lot more money and a lot more places are going to be able to survive, then have that conversation, but be really open about it.
But what if this generation likes it? Have you talked to this generation? I mean, maybe they want more teams. If I was a younger fan, maybe I'd be all into this shit. Who knows?
But you want like
us old guys hate it.
5 rounds after the season. This is long.
I understand.
Slog. You forget about
you and I agree. I don't want more teams. I don't want more in the playoff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the younger generation we all talk about. It's their sport and their choice now. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Double down, Dougie. Next, the NCAA should pick the games Sharon Morris suspended for. Not leave it up to Michigan to hand select mid majors. Make him sit out the Ohio State game and others to give him a postseason ban from coaching.
Well, it should have just been the opening games of the season. You don't get 3 and 4. You have to miss that Oklahoma game. That should have been, to me.
But is that why they jump out ahead of it and then suspended him themselves? Right? Michigan did.
Correct.
They picked
and
those
it
games.
worked. Although the next season he now has the opener. It's just a weird. It's a really weird scenario. But
Why does the NCAA let them do that? Just because? Okay, wow, you guys did half the work for us. Like they still took 3 years to figure everything out.
It's bizarre.
Craig Robinson with just a bonus here. Harbaugh's reported dismissiveness of the rules is simply the product of the good old boy nature of the Bo era. It's ingrained and cultural. As D'Antonio quipped, it's the way they do things over there.
Harbaugh certainly fed into that mentality and that perception, and 100%. And
yeah, he dressed like Bo for
the khakis
majority of his time in Michigan.
Right. Yeah. So there's no doubt that the things that outside fans dislike most about Michigan, Harbaugh played into without question.
Oh yeah. Sparty Barb, number one, the NCAA's ruling on the cheat again sign stealing scandal is a direct reflection of today's culture. Lying and cheating will be tolerated if you can pay for it. And 2, college football will never be the same, and not in a good way. There's no accountability for anything anymore. Thanks, Go Blow, for ruining it for everyone else.
I mean, the sign stealing scandal, there's a lot of, think about SMU at one point. Like, cheating has been around for a long time. Michigan's cheating isn't any worse than a lot of cheating that's gone on throughout college football, especially in the South. I mean, you got Paul Feinbaum up in arms. I mean, freaking hey, man. Like, just how about you ask somebody who's in the stands of one of your beloved SEC programs if they'd let one of the players date their daughter? Like before you start bitching about the Big Ten. Like, Paul Feinbaum's got zero credibility with that stuff. Like, I'm sorry.
It's still funny though.
Yeah, it was funny. But I just, that stuff. Let's not act like this is some sport that's been high and mighty over time. Michigan has just acted like a bunch of jackasses here and acted like pretty. The idea that some people were celebrating this reaction as if
on Twitter.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know to what.
You know what I mean? Who is celebrating that you know?
Right. That's a good point.
Stop paying attention to these weirdos. Skeeter Barnes of Southern Maine. As a student at Michigan, Jolyn Zoo had to sit through the Stephen Threet season. She hated it so much that years later she started banging an 80-year-old so she'd never have to suffer through that agony again. Forgive me if I don't think a $20 million fine is a big deal. All right, you're gonna get some off because I'm sure you're gonna have to look this up. What is he talking about? Bang, 80-year-old.
I can't. I'm
guessing this is softball. Is it softball related?
Stephen Threet was the quarterback in Michigan.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
I don't. Yeah, but $20 million fine. Michigan will be able to cover that. It's not.
Who's the 80-year-old she was banging?
I don't.
What was the story there?
Yeah.
All right. Pablo Ciccone 8-4. Book it. MSU's offense scores 35 per game. Defense surprises people, and we have to fight to keep Joe Rossi next offseason. Cockburn.
Yeah, 8-4 is, I think, a reasonable prediction. Just as reasonable as 5-7. So if you think there's a chance they go under, I think that.
So what you're saying is it could go either way.
No, what I mean by that is I think 5 to 8 wins is probably. I'm not saying you couldn't have a season where everything went wrong and there were less, or everything went right and there were more. But 5 to 8 wins is the window. So if you're trying to think about betting the over/under for Michigan State, and the over/under is 5.5, and I'm telling you there's as good a chance as 5 as 8, then you should take the over, because there's also a good chance of 6 or 7 or 8. There are more chances to go over than under, I think, based on. I think this team's got a higher floor than people realize. That said, I do think the schedule is full of games that are competitive, and so it's not like you just don't have a lot of breaks in it. But I think this team will have the depth to show up most weeks.
The bottom line is I could see that game going one way or the other.
Ethan, Charmella next. MSU football goes 7-5. Childs heads to the NFL after the season. And bonus, Nebraska on the road will be the biggest win of the season.
That would be a big win.
Huge win, yeah.
I think Nebraska's going to be pretty solid. And I don't know if this is their year, if they're a year away still, but I think that's
Matt Rule in year 3, though, notoriously.
Yeah.
Turns those things around like that. Kevin from Rochester Hills, Michigan does not have fans. They have delusional freak cult members. And bonus, Paul Feinbaum is the voice of the people.
He is not. He's not the voice of the people.
Of the South.
He agreed with Michigan State fans on one point, and a lot of,
Nick Saban has never cheated.
Jim Comparoni gets all excited. He's like, oh, Paul Feinbaum here. Tweet.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, reposted that. I had to. Comp was excited. Matty B, bonus. I was fine taking one CMU game off, knowing that they willingly invited him, not just Costner, but the head coach, burn the relationship to the ground, especially if there has still been no apology. MSU did enough favors for CMU only to be stabbed in the back.
Yeah, CMU's got to step up here. There's no question about that. And I'm not saying they shouldn't. And I tweeted out something that got people fired up because I was a little annoyed. Yeah, stupidly. Our friend Matt Sheehan had a tweet responding to a Central Michigan fan. I don't even remember what the Central Michigan fan did, but it was a meme or it was
And he scolded Sheehan.
It was a video of basically very dismissive in the way, very smug and dismissive. Now,
but that's Sheehan.
No, he's not smug and dismissive.
A little bit sometimes. Come on.
Is he?
I don't know.
But the same thing that what I saw on that, and I may have overreacted, and I just something that set me off in the moment, and may have not been. Yeah, I should think before I
Matt. Let me just talk to you. Let me talk to you to the side here.
Think before you tweet.
Yeah. Be better than that.
But what I saw is the same type of attitude that Michigan State fans hate when, like, Michigan fans had, well, I don't care what you think, but national championship. It's the same thing, like the dismissive nature of in the food chain of college sports when a small, there is a food chain, and Michigan State is below Michigan on that food chain. That drives Michigan State fans nuts, and the MAC is well below the Big Ten. And when you exert that bully, dismissive, smug nature in any realm, it's unbecoming.
But if it's a one-off, I mean, there's certain, and Matt Sheehan puts his name on it. So
and
it's
CMU has earned it. Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad. I love Sheehan. Sheehan does an unbelievable job with Locked On Spartans. I love going on that show. Look, what he's able to do 5 days a week. I mean, we've done the 5 days a week thing. In the closet.
Unbelievable.
On his own. Yeah, no, I mean, Sheehan's
without
fantastic.
swearing.
Holy
crazy.
Holy fuck, yeah.
Wow. All right, Shep, Couch, here's what you don't get about the CMU thing. If they had immediately apologized and took responsibility and fired all the people involved, including their shitbag AD, as an MSU alum, I would have no further issue with them. But they smugly and defiantly denied it and obstructed it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like that, I'm not defending CMU here. I get why people are angry at CMU, and they have it. They have every right to be. And CMU is to me is at some point, and it's not. The president was brand new, and that he kind of came in after. The AD is the one person who's there for all of this, and at some level, and I understand there's an NCAA investigation, and people hide behind that stuff, but you got to be. The NCAA doesn't have any much power. You got to be. You got to be bigger than that. And I understand also there's a danger in admitting too much because you think the NCAA will punish you then. You got to figure out what you can do. And behind closed doors, at the very least, the fact that they had never reached out to Alan Haller, and maybe they have to Jay Batt at this point, but they had not to Alan Haller at the point that he was let go. That's ridiculous. Because even if you hadn't done anything publicly, if Haller could have been able to say, hey, there's stuff coming down the pike. I appreciated the phone call. We'll figure this out. That would have gone a long way. Just do that behind the scenes. He didn't even have to share what you said. But the fact that you would have reached out would have been appreciated, would have shown that you understand that you were in the wrong, and CMU has not done that.
Yeah, but you should want people to know what you said, though, right? It should be a public apology and all that certain things. You shouldn't have to even apologize underneath it all. Just do it out in public. Lions reply guy. Number one, if you could add any non-quarterback piece to this Lions team, who would it be? TJ Watt, opposite Hutchinson, would be wild, but I would also talk myself into Lane Johnson, opposite side of Sewell. And 2, Ben Johnson gives off Adam Gase vibes. Him and Caleb together make it extremely easy to hate the Bears. I bet Ben Johnson paints his nails as a last-ditch effort to jumpstart and motivate the team by week 8. He is no Dan Campbell.
Who would you want opposite? Add any non-QB piece to the Lions, what would it be?
A stud center. I mean, after losing Ragnow, I'm just,
You want that offensive line to be a Bear again. Because that
I do. And
that
center,
really,
it starts at the center position. It's such an important position. I can't stop thinking about not having Ragnow there. It stinks on ice, so. Witty username, Detroit fans are traumatized. Not one Tiger fan is optimistic after being one of the top teams in Major League Baseball all season. Graham, get on your therapist hat and help us get over our collective crazy.
Well, they have studied things, and Cleveland has cooled down. And if you want to be optimistic, I mean, obviously Paddock is a disaster.
Yes.
Is a disaster.
It's his former team, right? Is that what we're going to chalk it up against?
No.
He's looked good in 2 games, looked like shit in 2.
But let's say this: in a postseason, all you need is you need 3 starting a rotation, right? Again, you have too many days off between games. You need 3 starters really in the postseason. You got Skubal, you got Mize, you're going to go Morton. Right, so you got those 3, and maybe that's enough.
Not even Flaherty.
And you got Flaherty. Maybe I don't know if I'd start Flaherty in the postseason. Would you right now? No, I wouldn't.
I know. I'm just saying it's crazy though.
And then so Flaherty maybe becomes a long reliever. Melton, I think, is somebody who's could be good in relief. I think you've got 2 guys at the back end of the pen who are pretty good right now, and so you've got your sort of 8th and 9th inning guys, and in the postseason, you can pitch those guys almost every game. Because you're going to have 2 games on, day off, that sort of thing. So there is an avenue where the Tigers have just enough to be okay if they're hitting well and other things. That would be, and obviously they've righted the ship to the point they're going to be in the postseason. It looks like they should win the division.
But I swear that this, my thought process, coming into this show today, and it started with gambling related, yesterday with Paddock, because I had a little single game parlay, Tigers minus 1.5 to, But, I just watch this team and I go, man, this team annoys me because I just can't figure out what we're going to do in the playoffs. I know I look at our record, we're 20 games over 500. I should be excited. But when I watch this team, I'm like, there's no way we're doing anything in the playoffs, though, right? And we're watching Skubal for it's like, oh, we're not going to extend him, so this guy is not going to be pitching for us. It's just a weird team to root for this year. You don't know, and then you want to sit there, and then Scott Harris provides these guys that you're sus. You have, they're a little sus, so you're like, okay, I don't want to sit there and act stupid and come out against these certain guys like Morton and all that shit because they might end up working out. It's just a really weird, frustrating team to root for. Anyway.
Yeah, it's I'm
just saying, I want to, be excited about a playoff push and all that, but I'm looking at the other teams that are going to be in the playoffs, and I'm like, do we stack up against any of these playoff teams right now? I mean, yeah, we look great in the AL Central. That's complete ass.
But their record is still better than most of these teams.
I know.
Well, this will be a big week. They get the Astros, right? So the Astros are the type of team they're going to play. Yeah. And the Astros are a team that's right there. They're battling for one of those top 2 playoff spots, so they don't have to play in that first round. Let's see what they look like. It's not even about if you can go 1-2 against the Astros. That's not a big deal. People lose baseball games all the time. But do you look like you belong on the field with them? Does this look like if you look like you belong on the field of the Astros, and it's pretty much, you win 1 or 2 games and it's toe to toe, then I think everybody calms down a little bit.
Tyler, pick your top 5 batters in the AL Central. I'd go Witt, Green, Kwan, Buxton, Torque. No Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is one of the best baseball players in the not only AL Central but the whole league.
Yeah,
I think I'd put him in before Torre. I mean, Kwan is I hate that dude.
He's good.
God, he's the worst. I really do. I hate seeing that guy. Bliss next. Number 1, this new virtual measurement in the NFL is kind of stupid. Now, if they could figure out a better way to get a correct spot on the ball, well, then we'd be talking. And 2, seems to me that the Power 4 and Group of 5 would be better off without the NCAA and get commissioners like the NFL.
What this virtual measurement? I am not aware of what's going on. What is this virtual
I don't
measurement?
know. Because, I watched the game on Saturday, and I could not believe how much of a ref show, flag show. I understand it's preseason football, but my God, it's unwatchable. It's absolutely unwatchable. I sat there through it, but I don't know. I zoned probably when they were doing the new virtual measurement. Okay. I had 3 TVs going.
So they're still going to have the chain gain as far as I know, but everything's going to be like an actual – I mean, it's surprising.
Non-85-year-old guy.
Right. It's surprising it's taken this long. I mean, you think about it. Like anybody who watches soccer, you have and they're getting faster to this. But for a while, they've been drawing lines pretty quickly with the with offsides, and now they have the the automated stuff. So they should have the technology. It shouldn't be, you're right, 85-year-old guy with a chain gang deciding whether you made it by an inch. I don't know.
I mean, what a gig! That would be a tough gig to sit there and go up and down, especially 46 years old. I mean, imagine those guys.
My biggest beef has always been the officials when they come in from the side, and you can see where they are when they come in with the side to spot the ball, and then you can watch them move, within
Always
4 or
wrong.
5 inches one way or the other. And
you
you're
got
like,
to bet on that shit. Dude. You got a bet going, and you're like, what the?
You're like, can you not run in a straight line, my man? Like, do you
pointing at the screen? That ref right there.
And here would be my thing. If at least if they had to go to measurement, right, and they were off by 3 or 4 inches, if at least they did like this thing up their hands, like, I don't know.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, we thought it's about, because they act like so convicted. First down, you don't know if it's a first down. You moved 6 inches.
But I respect that, though. You have to act like you know what you're doing. You can't sit there and shrug your shoulders when you're trying to do that. You got to sit there and be passionate about that first down, even though you know you fucking moved it.
A million Teddy Valentines out there. They don't.
Oh, man, he's a great ref, though. Original Dark Mantonio, you either misconstrued my question or I worded it badly. But I was asking, would MSU fans still be in the same fire-breathing uproar about everything that happened with Michigan winning and the Stallions thing if it was instead Maryland and Stallions?
No, because Maryland's not their rival. They don't have that history. I mean, this is the school.
It would be interesting for a half minute, but
yeah, and it would be a story, and they would have played Maryland a lot, and so and there would be people would look at the national championship as tarnished and an asterisk, and Maryland as a school probably would have been banished. But the No, I this is the school that tried to keep Michigan State out of the Big Ten. This is the school with a lot of history with Michigan State, and this is a rivalry, and so they're going to feel different. These are people who, they live in this state together. They root for the Lions and Tigers together. A lot of people. This is tight quarters, and so that's why it's different.
Parker Weiss, next, number one. I don't give a shit. That championship has every asterisk known to mankind attached to it. And 2, the Premier League starting in mid-August is the best thing happening for sports fans right now. I can't handle just baseball and golf majors being over that long before football starts.
Premier League's amazing. It was so good to have it back last week. It changes life. And really there's so many other sports that not so many, but there are other sports that miss the window here, and this should be a point where you've before football start, you really got it. Like, I think the WNBA does a better job now, but MLS should be on like 5 nights a week right now, and even before the Premier League, they should be just regular.
Do people
viewing.
throw dildos on the field there in the soccer games too?
How they throw worse? They throw water bottles and stuff at players on the
shape
field.
Of penises. That a water bottle is worse than a fake dick.
It's probably not going to hurt. It's probably going to hurt more. A full water bottle, it's going to hurt.
So you'd
more.
rather be hit with a dick,
yes,
with a fake penis?
Yes. Would you?
Well, you guys know now. Hit him with a dick. Would I'd rather be hit with a water bottle.
You'd rather be hit from distance with a water bottle than a dildo.
Yeah, because what if I die and then I'm dead by dildo? I'd rather be dead by a water bottle hitting me in the head. What kind of water bottle? Like the plastic ones? Or are you talking about like the...
Yeah, but it's like a full water bottle. That's pretty... That's a lot. That's a lot of heat.
It's a full dildo. I don't know.
They don't feel...
How many do you... How many have you hung on to? Dude, they're pretty hefty.
I don't have a lot of experience with them, I'll be honest. So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
All right. Big John Hogg. Number one, got married. Doing thank you cards is ass and requires pure options to make it bearable. And 2, the NCAA is spineless. Michigan still virtue signaling is peak hypocrisy. Need more media members calling Michigan out on this.
A lot have. I mean, the media largely,
names.
Nationally and everything.
I need names.
Has largely been against Michigan on this. There have been very few columns that were all pro-Michigan on this. The thank you cards. Did you have to do the thank you cards? Or
it was the worst. But I will say this: I was the one pushing to get them done, though.
Okay.
When we did them, I gotta say, I was thinking about this. I don't even know if we finished ours, but I remember kept going like, "Babe, we got to do these." Like, I'll sit down because she would write the majority of it, and I would just write my little thingy. But yes, it is very much ass.
The hardest thing for me is my signature is so unrecognizable that I have to like write my name. I can't even. It's
Well, there's
not,
two people, and they're getting it from a couple that they went to their wedding. So
That's
I'm pretty
true.
sure they can figure out the woman's, and then if you just wrote chicken scratch, but there's Graham's signature.
Yeah, I have to say Elizabeth was definitely driving the. We need to get these out. You
Can we just send out a fucking email, like a mass email?
That does not work.
No?
You can't do them. You cannot do the mass email. That from Jason was not a story we're telling, but it's anyway presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing. Just an awesome place for happy hour, for to catch a game, a date night, whatever it might be. You'll love the beer selection, including the American Stout. The chef does a great job there. Heavier foods, lighter foods, just really good offerings, and it's a place of good character and good service right here in downtown Lansing.
Speaking of wives, Treese next with past week highlight, apparently. Couch, you know what's better than any Hallmark movie? Trav and Tay. Are you all in yet? I need your full review of this 2-hour pod. You will laugh, cry, and love every second. I'm here for it all.
I'm probably going to listen at some point because I've seen enough clips, and you're right, it's right up my alley. It really is.
Oh, my God.
By the
way, I think we're one and done with TikTok.
Oh, yeah?
I've had enough with TikTok. You realize that I posted a 10-second, 15-second clip of talking about T watching it. Has surpassed any other video I've posted TikTok-wise.
Well, then so maybe that's what we ought to be.
I was about to say.
Do the whole show on TikTok.
You already love so many things that are ass. Why don't you just do a Taylor Swift report? We can post that, and we become the Taylor Swift. It was insane of how many that little clip got before the other 4 videos I posted. It drowned it out. And by the way, when you open TikTok and it's just blaring at you, like, I don't know, man. I don't know how much more I could take of the TikTok. It's just brutal. MCV, any main road that has a speed limit under 45 miles per hour doesn't need an electronic speed sign. And bonus, seeing as this past winter lasted through early June, any and all trees that are now showing signs of fall will be aggressively covered in Taco Bell wrappers.
So if people don't know what that means, is I used to, when Mother Nature did not cooperate, I would litter. And once did with Taco Bell wrappers when I was really upset at Mother Nature.
Got back at her.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Her and Liz Frank, those two bitches.
Yeah, I do not call Mother Nature Nature anymore. I call her the weather because she has not earned the right to be called anything that's a motherly figure. Because to have a personification, you have to be able to be held accountable, and she cannot. So there's that.
Way to stand tall. Yeah. MCV, read that. L. Ron Hubbard of the cupboard. Take one. Number 1, excessive use and inability to control oneself while consuming. 2, hiding use from your spouse. And 3, still using despite health issues. No, not talking about Jason. Graham, have a seat. We're all here because we love you despite your donut addiction.
I do a pretty good job.
That sounded familiar about 5 years ago. I think I had the same convo with some family members. Man.
Yeah, a little intervention?
No. It's pretty fairly obvious. One way, I had 2 options. I didn't need anybody telling me.
You knew it when it happened.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah.
It was time.
Yeah. There was no I could just still have beer.
But it was impressive that you were committed to your health.
I appreciate you thinking it was impressive.
I've been very impressed.
It's either death or that, you lose everything.
Well, some people choose death, and you did not. So I respect.
Choose Coors Light.
I very much
over their
very much respect it.
Yeah. C-Dubs 91 hot take. Tigers win 5 of the next 6 and regain the best record in the AL. And reasonable. Meet the Spartans returning this week is the second best thing to happen to MSU football since 2019. Kenneth Walker being first. Fan engagement is a huge key to success.
I think this was smart, and not having it last year was probably a miss. And I think every coach who takes over a program learns what they like, what's important to fans. And I think especially when you don't have a spring game, it's a way to connect with people. And in this day and age too, when it's harder to know who the guys are. Now people know who Aiden Childs is, they know Nick Marsh. But, there are a lot of guys, Amari Kelly, who's I think, going to be a really, really impactful, important piece to this team at receiver. Those sort of guys to shake the hand, sign autographs, take pictures with kids and stuff like that. That stuff goes a long way. I think the basketball team, not only do they have Midnight Madness, but what they get out of Moneyball and the way fans feel a connection to them helps all year long with how they feel about certain guys. And now, if you happen to transfer to North Carolina State, like any fan base, they'll turn their back on you and threaten to kill you. But that's a whole different issue. As long as you are loyal, you see this in soccer too. It's unbelievable. There are times see what fights. Well,
Passion.
yeah, it's just this feeling like somebody leaves your team. It's complete betrayal. It's.
But isn't that a part of it though? Like how
some
far? It
degree.
just depends on how far you take it, obviously, right? I feel like you can be passionate about it as long as you don't tweet at the person or DM like we see all these people DMing. I see golfers get DMs and post about it.
So like Diego Jota, he's the Liverpool player who dies in a car accident with his brother in early July.
Mm.
Everywhere they're going right now, there's all these tributes to him, and they're very emotional, and they're very cool. If that guy had instead...
And they're mad he left the earth? I mean...
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, they're not. But if he had instead, a year ago, if he had just decided he wanted to play somewhere else in his career, that guy would have been dead to them then.
Wow.
Like, that's how... It's just kind of... It's not
So
a
what
lot
are you
of,
saying?
Not a lot of perspective sometimes, and I'm saying you just see that.
Weird example.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What? The guy really did die.
Right. No, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
But now they're...
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It was just I'm shocked to the system, that example. My bad.
I'm saying if you want to be beloved, you're better off dying than leaving the team for any other reason.
David Jackson, number one, the Tigers' ability to be maddening right in the midst of a great season makes the strangest season by far I've ever experienced with Tiger baseball. Aside from the glorious second half of last season, of course. And two, Twitter's character limit on posts is all that prevents me from detailing the furor I'll have at my university if Central doesn't feel all the pain that Michigan State can inflict on us.
So, David, I would ask you and other fans, like, what would be more satisfying? Canceling the game and saying we're just not playing you, and you play somebody else and you move on for a bit.
Yep.
Or playing them and winning like 106-0 and just destroying them.
106, huh?
Whatever the number.
How many quarters we playing?
All right, let's say the number is 70. 70-3.
I'd rather tell them to go fuck off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
Yeah. Because then we still have to pay them, right?
Yeah.
Not we, but Michigan State still has to pay. Yeah, no. David Cox, quarterback is the most important position in all of sports. MSU clearly has one of the most talented quarterbacks in the country, if not the most talented. If he puts it together, then MSU makes the playoffs this year.
What makes Michigan State an intriguing football team is they do have some high-end guys. Mel Tucker said it well when he just talked about you needed 3 or 4 difference makers on each side of the ball.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of that.
And, Mel obviously had his flaws, but he was not wrong about that. And so Aiden Childs is the type of guy who can be that. Now, there is no guarantee that he's going to be a consistent enough player to let his talent take hold and lead them places. But he is the type of player with that sort of ceiling. And if you get Childs and Marsh and maybe another receiver, and you really have 3 difference makers on that side of the ball, and you can find them on the other side of the ball, you need a that's the thing. It's, do they have real? And we just don't know that. I mean, one of the things I'm really realizing about this staff is they are being coy about. Jonathan Smith is sort of letting slip that they have made some decisions that they're not letting on to. 1 minute they'll talk about the position battle's still here. And then he'll accidentally say something along the lines of, we haven't really let them know yet. I think they know a lot more than they're letting on. And there may be guys, and you hear moments where people are like, this guy's the best guy I go against, or this guy's really good, or this. But it's just not enough to trust it. But maybe they have that guy on defense. Maybe they have a couple of them. Maybe they'll be fine. Maybe this season will be a lot better than people expect. I think there's a lot of intrigue, and it's a growing intrigue. And I think there's a legitimate amount of modest hope that they're better than they've been the last couple of years.
Scott Yu next. What is MSU doing to maintain and growing enrollment? Over the past 10 years, CMU and Western have both seen enrollment go from 26K to 13K. Seems the big schools and the power conferences are leaving behind smaller schools in more ways than just sports.
I don't know. So, I mean, obviously they're doing a huge, capital campaign right now. There are certain things you see them doing with facilities, and so I shouldn't say I don't know entirely, but I don't know everything. I don't, I'm not an alum. I don't receive, my wife went to Michigan State, and she went to James Madison, and she gets the, asking for money stuff all the time, and but I mean, there are, new wellness centers and the types of facilities they have, and they're clearly upping things there because you have to attract students, and the type of dining options you have and all those sort of things are you're competing against other people. So there's that. Michigan State's going to be fine. Now, higher education in general right now is under a little bit of an assault, but Michigan State is going to be okay. Michigan is going to be okay. Not every school will be okay, but Michigan State will.
Professor next. Dylan Dingler will be the Tigers' best positional player next season, and baked Cheez-It snack mix is elite. All right.
I'm okay
Elite.
with you.
I mean, yeah.
I
I think Cheez-Its are what they are.
I've had enough to drink. It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Dylan Dingler, he's been a revelation this year. And it's interesting because they have, guys in the system they're intrigued about at that position too. It'll be interesting to see but he certainly seems like he could be the future there.
Couch on Fire, we expect Harbaugh to be a slime ball, but Stallions had an honorable past. A Navy grad and Marine officer, and still was corrupted by that corn and blue school. Sad and tragic. Bonus, Tigers shopped in the budget bin at the deadline, and so far they have a couple of gems and a couple of misses.
Yeah, for what they traded and what they got, it has not been, you got a quality top reliever in Finnegan. Morton's had good starts to this point. I think you have to look at it and say for what they gave up, they've gotten, if you said the Tigers were going to get one reliever that so far they've been able to rely on and one back-end piece of the bullpen, you wouldn't feel that bad. They just had a couple that haven't worked. The key is not using the guys at some point who don't work and not,
It's impossible. These guys, Scott Harris cannot get rid of any of his guys. If Trey Sweeney can still make it, that's crazy.
Yeah. Right now, Paddock is just like throwing Little League pitches. People are just beating the pants off it.
AJ left him in a little too long, though. Neurotic Pants, number 1, F, MSU, wow, that can really change without one letter.
Sorry, yeah.
If MSU makes hockey too expensive and difficult for people like me to attend, then I might switch allegiances. Public universities should serve the public. And 2, if Jonathan Smith doesn't improve this year, MSU football will suffer for decades.
So to your first point, though, here would be the argument, and I think there is a line they have to toe where it has to be affordable, and hockey for a long time has been the best bargain at Michigan State. But you can also have a situation where, you just saw the last decade, and it doesn't have to get that bad again, but it's expensive to compete in hockey. It is, and sports are getting more and more expensive, and that's what it does suck in that sense. It's not the bargain it once was. So you have
like the LSJ can't even survive on $5.
Fair enough. I do think that the school needs to be aware that football tickets aren't cheaper than they were last year. I know seat licenses there have gone up for some people. Certainly are for hockey and for people. And so people have multiple tickets to multiple sports are having to make decisions sometimes, and you have to really, really find that fine line in terms of generating revenue, but not pushing away the diehards, and also giving people an opportunity to see your sport.
You almost have to embezzle to watch sports now. It's pretty crazy.
Although, if you are, I would say the best deal is probably still Xfinity. If you're looking to watch, the most sports for the best bang for your buck, go to Xfinity.com. You can look at the sports package. You can see what channels are offered. It's a good deal. There's ways that you can package Peacock in there as well. There's lots of ways to do it to get the most sports possible, bang for your buck with Xfinity and Xfinity.com.
Tim next. Any shame Michigan fans would have had quickly went away when they beat Ohio State, Penn State, Alabama, and Washington after the news broke, and followed that up with Ohio State last year. Those wins make it a lot easier to be dismissive of the sign stealing as any competitive advantage and not some technicality.
There is something to that. I think if it had been discovered after that run, right? If they had after the playoff, the outcry would have been even greater because it would have been from
like the TSU game or TCU.
Well, yeah, right. That's the point.
TSU.
Like, there are other years where it and the build up to it, and I think the momentum created, and I think there's still something there, and it may have not mattered a whole heck of a lot. The problem is when you look like you're guilty, which they have done a pretty good job of looking guilty, and it's hard to show exactly what advantages they have, and they definitely bent the rules or cheated, more than bent the rules. That they put themselves in this spot. It doesn't mean that they didn't have a fantastic team. It doesn't mean they didn't have a team capable of winning a national title without any of it. It's just they put themselves in this spot, and they're going to have to pay for it forever in terms of a lot of people just sort of thinking this is an illegitimate championship, or at least one that comes with an asterisk.
Matt C. next. Michigan is the equivalent of Kendall Roy, a spoiled, entitled, junkie rich kid who could kill somebody and get away with it. This is what happens when the media, NCAA, and law enforcement refuse to hold them accountable. Who's Kendall Roy?
From the fuck the HBO show. Sorry, hold on. Give me a second. No, fuck. Give me.
Out of the sky.
Sopranos?
Yeah, the bright in the hollow sky.
Succession. He's the Jeremy Strong character in Succession.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Matt C., let me reiterate something again. CMU has no connection to Michigan State. That is some weird Mac fantasy you talk with Spot about when you're lonely. Real fans who actually attended MSU find CMU as an STD-ridden hellscape, not worth state funding.
Mm-hmm.
Some good parties up there, though.
Yeah, not everybody feels that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody feels that way. I've been,
good times.
Yeah. I used to there was a moment where I thought about going to CMU when I was in
Oh, yeah?
high school. One of the
You're
first,
a big party guy.
Well, it was one of the first people I knew. One of the first dorms I went to visit somebody was already up there. It was a couple years ahead of me or a year ahead of and it just seemed like a lot of fun. But that was really the first, it was before I toured any other college or thought about it seriously. But it didn't seem like a bad place. Of course, this was like 1996, so might have changed.
Matt C. Graham, can you ensure Smith knows Michigan players said that they were going to take a belt to ass to his team? Even a soft, gentle soul like himself should be able to use this to motivate his team.
Mm. It would be interesting if they put that up on the big screen before the game,
Belt to ass?
Yeah. I mean, or just that video. Yeah, of the players doing that.
What did we tell you? What did we tell you?
Oh, Tony, calm down. It's Monday. Fuck. DMB couch saying Harbaugh is an odd duck with a little something different going on there was funny. But I like to call him Rain Man.
I think Harbaugh's greatest defense is that
it's tough because that movie came out 40 years ago, so some people don't get it.
Great movie, though. If you got
amazing.
Dustin Hoffman, Tom Cruise, great movie.
Could not be made today, but
Couldn't be made today, I don't think?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe.
It would go differently. I think.
Every once in a while, I just say, gotta watch Wapner.
Oh, you find that funny?
I didn't. So I'm not getting in trouble here. Let's keep going.
Scotty Green's El Camino. If the rumors about Strayhorn are true, he'll fit right in with the dirtiest program in the country. If they're true. Only if. Some dude, I'm behind a week from a fishing trip, so these takes might be old.
It's be funny if this is I hope the Tigers do something at the deadline.
Number 1, fuck Strayhorn. 2, Ace, no face is bullshit. I suppose we don't play stick the dealer, fucking mulligans. Can Aiden Childs get some do-overs this year? And 3, this is when Dan Campbell proves his true genius. Lions will have a slightly worse regular season than last year, but a dominant Super Bowl playoff run.
Everybody in the world would settle for that.
Fuck, you ain't lying.
Sign up for it. Yep. I mean, I think that's the thing that'll be interesting during the season, even if there are a couple. I think people will be able to stomach losses as long as they don't look like losses that are because everybody, you don't want to peak too early in a season. You don't want it to be losses.
We won 15 games last year. I'm not ready to stomach losses, man.
Well, if they're losses that don't look like
the show's going to suck when they lose, but
I don't know.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
You get a healthy team that loses some games, I think people would be able to handle that. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Blow go boner next. Michigan has rubber their nuts. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Michigan has rubber their nuts in the NCAA rubbed. You're killing me today, Couch.
Sorry.
Michigan has rubbed their nuts in the NCAA.
Got to do some self-editing, guys.
I know. I probably should read these. This entire time, appealing is just the final thrust. The reason alone, you'd think that they would want to hit them harder. Love how things are not turning back to who the whistleblower is. How dare they catch me cheating on my wife?
Yeah.
What happened in that thing? Is he cheating on his wife, too?
No, there's some deal with an Ohio State whistleblower.
Rubbing his bag
on. It does seem like
NCAA's face.
Yeah, it seems like the focus and the concern is in the wrong place.
All right. Jay Riemenschneider, a mind-clearing, a relaxing take. Go walk in a nature area, listen to the birds chirping, leaves blowing in the wind, the river flowing, and leave the pressures of life, social media, bad news, and all that behind for a while. It's really the only non-changing constant we have, and it's awesome.
Thank you, Jay. This is
but what do you listen to when you're on the walk? You got to have your AirPods in and listen to a podcast.
You want to listen.
Boring.
Yeah, you can do nature. What's the longest?
Yeah, I do nature, but I mean, I got to have something to
So you never
just walk and think your thoughts.
Well, your thoughts can be dark, but do you want?
That's what I mean.
Do you ever just walk and listen to the sounds around you?
I mean, when Teresa and I go for a walk, obviously I'm not rude, but if I'm by myself, I need something to. I mean, dude, I'll turn it off here and there, pull a butt out, oh, is that a bird? Oh, cool.
Yeah, everyone. I try and do 15 minutes a day that aren't with
off treadmill.
No, I'm talking when I'm out on the treadmill, I need to be attached.
Okay.
Yeah, that's different.
But the rare times you're off treadmill walking?
Well, that happens all the
Right.
time. I walk over to my mother's house. I try to have just
But
take
you're
in the
walking to
neighborhood.
her house. I'm saying if you went on a
A nature walk.
mile and a half walk with nothing,
It's a long time. Yeah.
bored. Hans Jurgen, number 1, Groovy Donuts said, I got one less problem without you and threw me out. 2, I caught Jason wearing big sunglasses and a sombrero while buying Hostess donuts at Meyer. I feel so bad for people that look like me out there. 3, with communism, no sponsors would be necessary. No Graham live reads. Workers unite.
Communism saves them from live reads. Nah, I don't know. I think we're going to stick with the live reads, but I appreciate you, Hans.
They're great. I love them. All right, Jake Hawkins, number 1, great 3 quick takes on the punishment Michigan got from the NCAA.
Thank you.
You're 100% right. This was their last stand to set an example of a school breaking the rules. I wasn't expecting the death penalty SMU got, but I wasn't surprised at what Michigan got. The NCAA showed that they're all bark, no bite. And 2, the Tigers should bring up Kevin McGee for the September roster and the playoffs. He can do more for the shortstop position than what they have now, plus a possible boost at bat. Only 4 current MLB stud players had better wins replacing something P plus. What did he say? WRC plus stats in the minor leagues than McGonigal.
McGee. I like McGee as a name.
McGonigal. I hate saying his name. McGonigal.
I think it would be fun to see him up. I think that would be a nice boost for people. It's interesting.
I like Trey Sweeney. What are you talking about? You don't like Trey Sweeney's bat? I'm just kidding.
I went over to the Lugnuts yesterday because I was going to do a piece on Leo DeVries, the like one of the top 5 prospects in baseball who got traded from the Padres to the whatever A's, Sacramento A's, whoever they are, the Athletics at the trade deadline, and the A's are of course the
plays
Lugnuts.
in a better stadium than the Lugnuts.
Yeah. And anyway, so I went over there and saw him go like 2 for 4 again a little bit, and he had an unbelievable series, like 7 for 11, 2 homers, 46 RBIs or something over the weekend. Yeah. And I was supposed to do a feature on him and talk to him after the game. And the idea was to write it this week before their final homestand, 6-game homestand next week. And right after the game, he got called up to Double-A for the final 2 weeks of the season. So
you hate him now? He big time?
No,
he looked right through you.
No, he wanted to do it. They wouldn't. I mean, obviously, there's no point in the feature now. He's not even going to be in Lansing anymore for people to see. It was a very brief stint. I mean, if he goes on to be a great player, it'll be they've had many great players in Lansing for a while.
Couch was like, guess who's got the afternoon off? Fuck yeah! Right, Jerk Guy. Number 1, the NCAA as an organization is on its last legs. And 2, the Lions are either going to make the Super Bowl or have so many injuries that they don't make the playoffs. I see no in between.
That sort of depression's not how we want to end the show. Yeah. Jerk Guy.
He's not wrong.
No, right. You got to do better, Jerk Guy. Give us a number. Give us a word we have to look up that I'm fearing is porn or something like that.
McGonigal.
Yeah, right. Come on, Jerk Guy.
McGonigal.
Appreciate all of you, by the way. We really do, and appreciate all of you for your takes. I know I trimmed some of them down, and a lot of people had like 3 or 4, and they were cut to 1 or 2. But we want to get everybody in, and we do really. It means the world that you care enough to write in and produce our show for us. We appreciate Midtown Brewing Company, downtown Lansing, 402 South Washington Avenue. If you're looking for a drink, you listen to the show, and you're thinking, you know what, I need a drink. Midtown Brewing Company is here for you. We appreciate Xfinity and Comcast. Go to Xfinity.com, type in your address, see the best deals for you today. We'll be back Wednesday with some sort of show. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Room.